One of the principles about money you talk about is to pay yourself first.
Yes.
Now, does that always mean financially, or is that something else as well?
Well, I think financially for sure. You know, in other words, if I make $100, $10 of that goes into savings. So I've always been a 10% tither to yourself first, and then you want to be a tither at some percentage to the rest of the world.
Why pay sorry to interrupt, but why pay yourself first?
Because if you don't pay yourself first, you're paying everyone else. You're going to work all week long, or month long, you get your paycheck, and then it all goes out in bills, and you go, damn, I didn't get anything from that. More importantly is you have to build up capital that makes money, either interest in an investment or it has money you can invest in starting your own company. In other words, if great opportunities come along, like I remember when Apple stock came out and I went, I think this is a good thing.
Just tell me about this.
Go into any Apple store and you have to wait to get waited on. That's like Starbucks, you have to wait to get a cup of coffee. Any place where people are waiting.
All day long.
All day long, that's a good investment. So paying yourself first is you have to have money to build up money so eventually you can live off the money rather than living off your labor, you know? And so, you know, I talk about Sir John Templeton, who used to take 50% of every dollar he made and put it into savings. He's now a billionaire, 50%. John D. Martini, who's in this book, who's another guy who was in The Secret, he said to his staff, every month I get paid this. I'm not paying your salaries if we don't make enough money.
Wow.
So you got to be watching the bottom line, and if we're not getting enough clients, he's a chiropractor, if we don't, you need to go out and advertise and bring in the people, because I'm paying me first.
Wow.
And his staff got, well, whoa, you know, but they took responsibility.
Sure.
And as a result of that, he's made millions of dollars, he's a millionaire. And so.
Is that a selfish, would someone say, well, that sounds selfish, why not support your team first or give back first? What do you say to that?
He was teaching his team one of the most powerful principles ever. Take care of yourself. What do they tell you on the airline when
your mask on first?
Put your mask on first so you can help take care of others.
Everyone else. Yeah.
So, you know, it's like you want to take care of others, you want to be in service. You and I, whatever we do is in service.
Yes.
You know, we're having fun and getting paid for it, but it's serving people.
Yes.
Now, not every profession is that. But in general, you know, we're not saying take all the money for yourself, we're saying take 10% and invest that over time. And if that grows and it creates, you know, 6%, 8% interest if you're a good investor,
sure.
You know, what's the guy who wrote The Automatic Millionaire? You become an automatic millionaire.
That's it. Is that David?
David Bach. David Bach. And so that's what I did. W. Clement Stone taught me to do that. He gave me a book called The Greatest Secret Ever, I think it was, and then another book about this guy who was in the Fable in Iran or someplace,
sure.
and he always put his 10% aside. There's a book in Canada called The Wealthy Barber. He had all this money and he was only a barber. Why? Because he put money aside to work for him. And you want your money making money.
Sure, and if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't serve on a bigger level.
It's true. Bob Proctor has a wonderful quote. I was watching him once. We were at a Secret conference, and we were both teaching at this conference where they put on. And he said, if you don't have a lot of money, the good you can do is limited to where you are. That means called your physical actions.
Yeah.
But if you have a lot of money, you can build a school in Africa. You can do cataract operations in India. You can fund, you know, microloans in Africa, you know, whatever. So I tithe. I remember when the hardest thing I ever did, one year I made $6 million and I had to give away 600,000. It's easy to say tithe when it's not that big.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, oh, writing checks for like $100,000.
Yeah.
But then I remembered, you are so lucky to be able to write a check that big.
Sure.
You know, so let's change how this is going here.
Right, 5.4 million more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And everything you send out comes back multiplied. We know that. It's a principle that seems to work in the universe.
That's amazing. Why do some people think you need to spend more to make more?
Well, I think basically you have to invest in your own business. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in new supplies, new technology. I mean, I just invested in a lot of new cameras and lights and put a home studio in here so we can do this kind of thing here without having to travel down to a studio in Camarillo where we used to work all the time. I've hired 3 new amazing people at very high salaries because they have expertise that I want. We just invested $300,000 to develop a home study program for our Train the Trainer course.
Sure.
And if we didn't invest that, then we don't have this leverage to get it out to all the world. Now that it's in the can and it's all digitally downloadable, you know, most of our expense has been spent.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are so afraid to risk that money. And if you don't, you know, Tony Robbins says you want to have a big success, you got to have massive action and massive input, you know. So the more you're willing to invest, the more you can win. A story about a guy on eBay eBay is, now they have this thing called eBay Millionaires.
Uh-huh.
And they have a conference for all these guys. He started out, his grandfather said, I don't want my pool table anymore. Would you like to sell it for me? He said, sure, I'll sell it for you. Goes on eBay, gets $600 for the pool table, gives his grandfather $300, keeps $300. He said, that was the easiest $300 I ever made. So he puts an ad in the local paper. If you have a pool table, I'll sell it, you know?
Sure.
And so he sold like 12 or 15 more of them, and then no more pool tables. So he starts importing them from China, and he's selling pool tables. Makes over $1 million a year selling pool tables imported from China on eBay instead of having to go to a pool table store.
Amazing.
And you know, there's story after story about the leverage of the internet and crowdsourcing and affiliate marketing and internet marketing. And if you're not paying attention to that, you're getting left behind. I had a coach for a while. He just offered me free coaching, and I thought, well, I'll take it.
Sure, sure.
He just wanted to be my friend. And so I did it for a couple of months. And what he said was, every morning when you come in, take your #1 goal and spend the first hour and a half working on that. Don't open your emails, don't do anything, don't answer phone calls, don't look at anything other than your #1 goal. And at that time, it was to get into the sphere of influence of some people like Ariana Huffington and Huffington Post and so forth. So I would call these people, talk to them, write emails to them. And then it was finish this book and so forth. So for me, that changed my life, because most of us put off the hard things, which are our most important projects, till later in the morning. Then it's lunch, and then it's the afternoon. Then, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock and I haven't worked on it yet.
Sure.
You know, and then we're
tired,
our creativity's not there. Yeah. And also we learned, and this is some research from the University of London, where if you have a new goal or a new habit you're trying to form, always do that first thing in the morning. If it's exercise, if it's yoga, if it's meditation, if it's reading for an hour, whatever it is, do it first thing. Because if you don't, it gets pushed off, and then it's 7 o'clock at night and you never did it. So
what are your daily rituals in the morning and at night then? I'm always interested in this.
In the morning I get up, and after I've gone to the bathroom and brushed my teeth, I sit down, I meditate for 20 minutes. I visualize for about another 5 minutes all my goals. I have them on cards, and on the back is a picture of the goal manifested. So it's like my little movable vision board, if you will.
Interesting. Do you draw it, or is it like a cutout or something?
Mostly I go to Google Images and I download an image, and then I size it, and then I print it, and then I cut it and stick it on the back.
I like this.
So if it's Bali, a couple years ago I wanted to go to Bali, so I ended up cutting that out, and last year we ran a workshop in Bali.
There you go.
You know, and so whatever it is, I read the affirmation. I'm so happy and proud that I'm now finishing, you know, a course in Bali for 20 people, having earned $300,000 profit, because that's what we charge for that. Turn it over, see the Bali picture, close my eyes, visualize being in Bali, looking out over the ocean at the end of the day, maybe drinking a gin and tonic or a glass of wine or something. And then, after I've done that, I do about a 3 or 4 minute gratitude exercise, where I may just list what I'm grateful for. I may do the rampage of appreciation I talked about. And then I will go and I'll exercise. I have a gym in my house. You know, it's an old garage we rehabbed into a gym at the end of the house. I do about 30 minutes of aerobics and about 20 minutes of weights. And then I take a shower, I have a blender drink with protein and God knows how many supplements we put in there. And then I go to work.
Yeah.
And then I do what I said, of an hour and a half of no interrupted, focusing on my main project. Then I check my emails to see what's been sent to me from the previous day by my staff.
And at night, what's the ritual when you're going to bed?
Well, at the end of the day, I do 2 things. I also will review my goals, because I believe right before you go to sleep and when you first wake up is the best time to do that, because you're in this relaxed state. I also do a technique called the daily review, which is so powerful, and very few people have ever heard of it or done it. But whether you're working on a goal or whether you're working on bringing a new quality into your life, I'm going to be more loving, more patient, more kind, whatever. I close my eyes and I ask my higher self, show me places today where I could have been more loving, or I could have been more efficient, whatever the goal is I'm working on. And invariably, oh, you yelled at the bank. No, I don't yell, but you got impatient with the bank person. You, you forgot to feed the cat, and then you kind of blamed your wife for it. You know, whatever it is.
Right.
And then what you do, and this is the key part, you recreate that movie. So whatever you did do, you now create a movie of doing it right. And what that does, it puts a blueprint into your subconscious mind for when you're faced with that situation again, how to do it the way you intentionally want to do it rather than being reactive.
That is a powerful ritual.
Yeah. And then the last thing I do is my wife and I go back and forth with 5 appreciations. I appreciate this about you, she appreciates that about me. So we always end the day, you know, appreciating each other.